Okay, so those all seem to be going fine. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the presentation, which I'm there now. And then I'm going to go into, as soon as I hit start recording, essentially that's when we're live. So screen is paused. So I'm going to show screen again. Okay, so we're good to go as of right now. Good afternoon, everybody, and good evening or good morning, depending upon where you're located. Thanks for joining us for this brief presentation, investor briefing by iRemedy. This is Gary Paquin, along with my brother Tony Paquin, the founders of iRemedy Healthcare. We're going to take you through some very exciting information on this presentation today. Thank you for joining us. We have people signing in from all over the country, so we appreciate you taking time out to see the updates that we have to share with you. So let's go ahead and get started. iRemedy's mission is to have smarter supply saves lives. We're going to share the details with you on that right now. Basically, we are revolutionizing the medical supply industry and the delivery of those medical supplies. As we witnessed over the last couple of years, and it's more true today than ever before, that the medical supply chain is broken. Healthcare and patients are suffering as a result, costs go up. iRemedy solves that problem by creating groundbreaking AI technology, and we're going to share the details with you on that today. This technology was invented by my brother Tony, as well as our CTO, a former Amazon vice president. And we developed a patent-protected platform that solves these very, very critical problems. Just as an introduction to this, the medical supply market, one of the largest vertical markets in the country, if not the world, is a $130 billion market. And depending upon how it operates, it will have critical life consequences, as we witnessed firsthand. And shortages are common. We see those in the news every single day. And high prices continue to limit access. So it impacts each and every healthcare consumer in America. And this market, which includes drugs, devices, PPE, and other surgical supplies, is always expanding and has manufacturers scattered throughout the world. As I mentioned, this market's due to exceed $130 billion in cost. But because of globalization, this market's experienced delays and shortages, and other problems will only continue to grow. And interestingly, there's not been a modernization of the medical supply chain procurement system literally for decades. This is an industry in crisis. These are the headlines that we see every single day. Supply chain shortages and life-saving drugs that are in short supply and so forth. We're getting to see this every single day, and this is the state that we have existing in the world of medical supply. And I'd like to do an introduction to our leadership team. My brother Tony, who is our CEO, and Jim Harding, who is our Chief Technology Officer. Tony and I were the founder. Tony is the founder and CEO of Agency One. That was an insurance software company that we sold to CNA Insurance Company, and then grew that to be the largest insurance software company in the property and casualty market. After that, Tony is the founder and CEO of Metanex, and we did an IPO on the NASDAQ. Tony's had, along with Jim, 12 patents filed, 3 issued. A number of new patents are continually being filed. And Tony is also the author of 2 healthcare books. One due to be published this summer, as a matter of fact. So people on this webinar will be able to get you a copy, a first edition copy of that book. It's an exciting read about this medical supply chain world. And Jim is a renowned inventor and technologist. He's one of the creators of PC-DOS that was licensed to Microsoft. He was the VP of technology at Amazon. They built and launched that Amazon marketplace. He sold 2 companies to Amazon that he created, Cardia and PhotoTrust. That's how Bezos got to know him and hired him. And Jim's had 15 patents filed and 5 issued. And just graphically to show you what this means from Jim's background, he was there at the launch of Microsoft, literally wrote PC-DOS, which is what, of course, was the base product that launched the Microsoft Corporation. And then when he joined Amazon, he was personally tasked by Jeff Bezos to build the everything store. And after several failed attempts by others trying to do that, and Jim devised, architected, managed, and launched what became the largest, most successful marketplace in the world using some extraordinary new technology at that time. And now an equally important task, and Jim will tell you that these things that we're doing at iRemedy with this technology is bigger than anything that he's done before. We've developed a differentiated AI approach called para-intelligence, and Tony's going to share with us shortly exactly what that means in the world of medical supply and what we're doing with that. So Tony, I'm going to turn it over to you here. Talk to us a little bit about number one, our AI and what we're doing in this area.
Absolutely. So as Gary kind of gave us the background in the introduction to the medical supply market, one way to think about it is like everything else, it globalized. There's a globalization of every industry in this country, and that included medical supplies. The problem is that's created, huge costs to U.S. healthcare. One is just plain costs. Things got, very expensive. The other is shortages and difficulty in finding products. Jim and I, got together about 5 years ago and decided that we should work together to create some technology to improve or help solve this very complex problem of managing these millions of medical products and all the very intricacies of getting them delivered to their customers in the United States. So we realized that there was new AI systems becoming available. I mean, just the power of the chips and the computers. And of course, we read about this every day now, but 5 years ago, we saw that coming on the horizon, and really credit to Jim for seeing that and recognizing that potential. So we responded by creating some artificial intelligence and filing some patents to protect those AI machine learning technologies that would then help us solve these catalog problems. And we have a pretty extensive portfolio protecting our inventions, about a dozen patents and patents pending, but really more underway. Gary, if you want to go on to the next slide, essentially what it comes down to is we use this AI to create digital workers. Think of it as smart agents, computer-driven agents out on the internet running web-based applications, but doing that on behalf of human staff. So it's really pretty amazing. We did 50 million in revenue last year, but we only have about 20 people. And, most of those are accountants and administrators and some technologists. The operating staff is very small because we're able to scale their activity using digital workers, working alongside them. There you go. So iRemedy, essentially, one way to think of these digital workers or our digital team is they have certain personas or functions that they accomplish. So we have a finder, a cataloger, a curator, a checker, and an expediter. These are digital agents trained or configured by our staff to do the work of our staff, but do it at super high scale. So the finder is a digital agent persona that works with our staff to find products when customers are experiencing shortages. As Gary mentioned in his introduction, shortages is a very big problem even right today. If you go out on the internet and you Google cancer drug shortage, I'm sure you'll see a bunch of horrific articles about patients suffering because they can't find the products, or their healthcare providers can't find the products they need. Well, our finder agent will start scouring the planet and won't give up until it finds what it needs to meet the needs of the customer. And then likewise, we have a cataloger, and that cataloger is an agent that scours the world to build a what we refer to as the Universal Health and Medical Products Catalog. We believe is the smartest healthcare product catalog in the world. And this cataloger is just out, catalogers, thousands of them, are out there working the world to build data to improve the intelligence of that catalog or that database. We have curator agents that likewise then take that massive catalog and customize it to the needs of individual customers. We have checkers, another digital agent persona group that is constantly verifying price and availability. This is a huge problem in the US supply chain, is customers, usually healthcare providers, doctors, hospitals, surgery centers, dentists, and so forth, are constantly trying to find out if a product they need is available for them and if they can get the best possible price. And then finally, we have expediters. And our expediter agents really are working on behalf of iRemedy. They're the ones processing all of our orders and managing that process, orders, refunds, returns, tracking things through the supply chain. Again, we don't have to have staff do that. Our digital agents, our digital team does that on our behalf. And this is all AI-driven technology protected by our underlying science and patents. We own 40% of another company called Grocket Data Incorporated. And what we did is Jim Harding, our CTO, and other scientists that we work with have taken these intellectual property that we originally invented for the healthcare industry and are now looking to monetize that into other businesses. So we own perpetual exclusive use of this IP for our industry, for the health and medical e-commerce and supply world. But we actually believe that there's opportunity, one, to continue to invent, and two, to very likely monetize this intellectual property. In other words, create digital workers for other industries. And Grocket Data will do that, and we're hopeful that our 40% ownership of Grocket Data will create more shareholder value for iRemedy's shareholders. So we're super excited about that ongoing work. This is just a list of, at the time we did this PowerPoint a couple of weeks ago, the status of our patents with the US Patent Office. This is very active. We're continuing to file more and see progress on all of those patents, but we have a very active IP group and a great IP law firm that our teams work with. So this helps kind of visualize the way the process works. You know, we have to use our digital agents. First, their digital workers are out there and they're building a catalog, and they do that for us automatically, and they do it ongoing. So we have hundreds of thousands of products, but we believe we ultimately could have millions. So the digital catalogers are out building that catalog 24/7. Then as they do that, by gaining so much information, our catalog is learning. It's gaining more data points. Where are the products manufactured? How are they being distributed? Where are the supply chain challenges? What's the FDA status on those products? We're gathering all that data through the catalogers and therefore learning and getting a smarter catalog. Then we have the ability to just take orders, traditional e-commerce. We have a state-of-the-art B2B and B2C platform to do that. Then we can solve problems in that supply chain. And that's, I referred to earlier, is our finder digital agent that will help find problems or find products that are hard to source. And then ultimately, our expediters will manage all of those orders and create more information and feed it back to feed it back to our clients. So in traditional supply chain, these 5 functions that we sort of summarize here are staffed with people. In our case, they're staffed mostly with digital workers. So we attack the US market in 3 categories. And this is really when we focus in 2023 and into 2024. If you're looking at our pro formas, our financials, you'll see us talk about 3 main revenue lines. One is consumers. This is where we have the most customers but the least revenue. In other words, we have a very high number of smaller dollar orders, but it helps build our brand. We want to meet this part of the market. It's a growing, important part of the market. You know, health at home, healthy at home, services in the home, DME, durable medical equipment, and so forth. And it allows us to advertise our products online and makes us a very big competitor in the world of Google Ads for healthcare products. The second category we refer to here as surgery centers, and we sort of think of this as the middle market. These are not hospitals, but large healthcare product users, ambulatory surgery centers, urgent care centers, imaging centers, typically large healthcare provider organizations. They use a lot of product. They tend to be profit driven or trying to operate profitably, and that's important because they're looking for opportunities to save money or to operate more efficiently. We have a very targeted proprietary solution to meet the needs of that middle market, and this is where we expect most of our growth in 2023 and throughout 2024. This is where we're investing. The proceeds of our capital raise is to build our sales and marketing initiative into the surgery center market. And then finally, historically, we've done a lot of business with the US government. We probably have $200 million worth of proposals that we're putting in front of the government right now, both involved in using our proprietary technology to solve some supply chain problems at the government, and just to supply products, to continue to sell products to the government. We've done over $100 million with the US government. This will continue to be an important part of our business in the years to come. It's a little, as we say, chunky. Like, we know we're going to do this business and meet this need. It is difficult to forecast on a month-by-month or quarter-by-quarter basis, but we're committed to this business. We're an important partner in the government, and we have really aligned interests with the United States government. One of the services that we're offering into that middle market, that surgery center market, we refer to as marketplace as a service. It essentially allows our technology to brand a medical supply, a portal to the client. So the client, could be a large group of surgery centers, a group of doctors' offices associated with a hospital, a variety of different scenarios. And essentially, it's like a virtual medical supply business. We can deploy it, brand it, they can manage their own catalog, their pricing, and the whole process. This is going to be a very big growth area for us. There's a tremendous amount of interest. Our technology can deploy these branded storefronts very rapidly and very efficiently at a very low cost. So we've already signed several agreements for this service, and in fact, we'll begin deploying very soon, within the next few weeks. I think in early August, we'll probably see our first deployment, but this is definitely a very hot area for us. I mentioned the government. We've done over $100 million. We've imported over 1 billion items, and we have additional proposals in place. not just for products, but also using our technology to solve complex problems within the government regarding managing the medical supply chain for the United States. As part of that, we are very active in the conversation with our partners, and that includes the government, other industry leaders, in de-risking the medical supply chain. Currently, the vast majority of medical supplies, and by that I mean 80 to 90%, are manufactured overseas, and in fact, mostly in China. And this has created a very high risk problem, even a national security problem for the United States. So there's quite a movement underway to de-risk that situation by reshoring manufacturers, building manufacturing capacity here in the United States, or with friendly nations, allies, both here in the Americas and other places. We're a leader in this. We were a co-founder of a coalition called Securing America's Medicine and Supply, SAMS, which is samscoalition.org. Very actively promoting legislation to improve the economics of being a medical supply manufacturer in the United States. We're having great success with that. iRemedy will be deploying a branded marketplace for SAMs and others that features just products made in the United States. That's a very big initiative for us. And I've already, as Gary mentioned, we've written a book on this. I have a book coming out in the summer. It's dedicated to this issue of globalization of the medical supply chain. Our technology, our AI platform, and all these digital workers we have really puts us in a strategic and powerful place to help solve this problem. And we're committed to do that. And we think there's great opportunity as a result.
And Tony, also the government, as I understand it, has a mandate coming out. If you can explain the Berry Act.
Well, exactly. There's several initiatives already passed and in law, and others that are being proposed that's going to require percentages of the total medical supply chain to be made, as I described, either manufactured here in the United States or in allied countries. So this isn't something that would be nice to happen, or we would like to happen, or should happen, or could happen. It's something that will be mandated by, or is mandated by law. And now there's a lot of people scrambling to figure out, okay, how's this going to happen, and what are the economic impacts? And in the case of the government, what can they do to support that process? But it's absolutely happening, and it is law, and we're continuing to help expand those laws, and we're continuing to be a facilitator to manufacturers who want to set up in the United States and, oh, by the way, distribute their products through the iRemedy platform. Something that we did want to mention in the market is we are also going to grow by acquisition. Gary mentioned in the introduction that I was CEO of two other companies. Gary was with me in those companies as a co-founder. One was a very fast-growing startup in the insurance software business. The other was a fast-growing startup in the electronic medical record software business that went public on the NASDAQ. Both of those companies had a strong acquisition story. Each of them acquiring, I would say, at least a dozen companies. The insurance software deal, actually quite a few more. I think we ended up doing about 20. Jim Harding, our CTO, has also done a few acquisitions. So we've got quite a bit of experience in this. The technology platform that we have really enables us to acquire companies, put them onto the platform, and immediately help expand their reach and be accretive to them and to us. So we believe it's going to be very profitable. We have several candidates that we've already begun negotiations with, and we expect this to be an important part of our growth plans throughout 2023 and 2024 leading into an IPO. We'll be doing primarily stock as a currency, and we expect these transactions to be accretive. We would only do them if they are accretive, not dilutive. In other words, we will buy companies at a stock value that is more attractive to us than our current model. In other words, if our current stock value is 4 times revenue, then we'll be buying at something more like 1 times revenue, and it would be a very accretive transaction. So we're excited about this and looking forward to not only, by the way, acquiring revenue and profit, but we will acquire supplier relationships and we will acquire talent in this process. So it's an important part of our growth model. A couple of highlights in our progress. We've been, I think we were just maybe the right idea at the right time when we started talking about this 4 or 5 years ago, but the tech platform coming into the market over the last 2 or 3 years was good timing. 2022 revenue hit 50 million, 100 million to the US government, I mentioned. Over 10,000 happy customers. I think it's probably closer to 15,000 now. And then we serve, everybody from consumers to doctors, dentists, hospitals, schools, government agencies. I mean, really all of the above. Right? Really broad customer base. An important part of our team, first off, we think we've put together a great leadership team, but there's also our advisors. Holland and Knight is a major global law firm that manages all the patent work for our subsidiary Graka Data. They're a phenomenally good law firm, done great work for us. Anthony LG, which is owned and operated by Laura Anthony, a very well-known securities counsel. They've been our law firm both for general legal, but also our securities work for many years. I would say at least 5 years, probably 7 years or more. So they've been with us for a long time. Great work. Witham, which is a nationally rated auditor, is our auditor, so we can be prepared to be qualified on a national exchange like the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange. And the Maxim Group is a large established investment banking firm in New York City. I think they got offices all over the country, if not the world. And they're helping us manage, institutional investors, accredited investors, and any potential move towards an IPO. A couple of updates, and really the point of this slide is to encourage people to go to iRemedy.com and keep track of our updates because we're very active. There's quite a bit going on these days. We are announcing the patents as they're being issued by the government. So we had an announcement just go out about a week or 2 ago. Versea and iRemedy announced a partnership, a joint venture. Versea is a fantastic, large, successful diagnostics company. We are partnering on a urgent care center supply portal. We expect to have several hundred urgent care centers on that portal, uccsupply.com. I think we'll see that come out early August. That'll be one of our branded storefronts. And then also several weeks ago, we did announce my podcast called the Supply Side Podcast. Great content there. We've already done several episodes. We've got some new ones coming out. We're going to be talking a lot about China. We're going to talk about drug shortages and just other activities in the supply side world. So that's on YouTube, and we'd encourage everybody to go check that out. You can also link to that from the iRemedy.com website.
So as you can see, we have a lot of exciting things happening at iRemedy, and Tony and I are very, very excited about this business, more so than anything we've done in our career, and we've done quite a bit. We're literally on a mission, And the mission is to create the largest and smartest medical products catalog on the internet, not just to say that we can do it, but so that we can impact the cost of medical supplies in the United States, ultimately the cost of healthcare to the individual in the United States, to the access to these important products. We live in a changing world, and it's important that we use this new technology to bring medical supply up to what it should be in this country. We've got a highly proprietary supply chain platform developed by, as you know, the creator of Amazon's marketplace, and Jim will tell you this surpasses anything that he's done on the technology front there. As Tony talked about it, those various agents, the digital doppelgangers that we call them, that work on our behalf allow us to scale this business quite dramatically and really create a highly profitable and highly efficient company. Our team has had a successful track record of acquisitions as well as an IPO. We had revenues exceeding over 50 million in 2022. And most importantly, is we have the gateway technology, patent protected, AI driven marketplace technology that's going to really allow us to be a major force in this industry for many years to come. So I want to thank everybody for attending today. If you have any questions, like further information, feel free to reach out to me at any time. There's my email address as well as my phone number. Appreciate you joining us today. Tony, thanks for joining us as well. Have a great day, everybody. Hope to talk to you soon.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Take care.